I'm gonna say something that maybe people won't like, but for me, I don't really believe in what we call too busy. I was like, who am I to post things? And I started like asking all these questions, like, will people even care what I have to say? You really never know
Right,
who is there waiting to hear a message you have to
right.
say.
Do you think that its authenticity performs better than like a perfectly planned post?
I think
Welcome to or welcome back to Founders in Jeans. I'm your host, Emily Jean. And before we get into the episode, I just want to say a huge thank you so much for listening to my podcast. It means the world to me. I also wanted to say that if you enjoy the show, feel free to leave a review on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening to this, and also to follow us. You can follow us on Spotify, of course. You can follow us on Instagram at Founders in Jeans. You can also find me on Instagram at emily.jeans, or you can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to connect with people on there, and I have a lot of good conversations from listeners. Also, you can always leave a bad review for us. I'm totally fine with that. And in fact, I think that's exciting. I would love to know what we can do to improve. So you can also leave comments below and let me know what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. I actually do read every single one. We also have a newsletter that comes out once a week, so you can get all the updates from us. We also put in some weekly business and marketing updates in there, as well as some personal notes from me. You can subscribe to that on my LinkedIn, also through the Instagram and in the show notes below. Anyways, that is all from me. I'm so excited for you to listen to this episode. I hope it's a good one, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye. Razane Boustany, welcome to Founders in Jeans. I am so excited to chat to you today. For people who don't know you, why don't you give me a little bit of a background about yourself?
yes. Hi, Emily. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. So, who I am, I work as a justice sector advisor and project manager in the justice sector. And basically, I started also another journey in parallel. I started writing on LinkedIn 5 months ago, and that's it. That's me.
Perfect. I love that. So I know that you have a very demanding full-time role in the justice sector. Oh my gosh, in the justice sector. What made you even start posting on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I really like this question actually because a lot of my colleagues or friends also have asked me this. And for me, it was really just, I felt the need to share a bit more about things I learned, things I knew, my life experience. And I was looking for ways to do that. And I felt like LinkedIn was the right place to do that. Uh, Something my friends always say about me, I'm really not a social media person. So if you check my other social media, you will barely see any posts. But I felt like LinkedIn was like the right place because it's really, for me, I think it's a learning platform and it felt like the right place to share some learnings or some stuff to hopefully help others or inspire others.
Mhm. I love that. I think that for a lot of people who are not big social media people, LinkedIn is the perfect kind of starter platform, if you will. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So then I guess I'm curious for you, when you were going into LinkedIn, did you kind of have a big plan of growth and connection, or was it more of just like a experiment at first?
To be very honest, I had zero plan, really.
Okay.
Like, I remember I just told myself, I just want to do it. I had no plans, no strategy. Also, I'm not someone doing this full time. So it was really a side thing. So
Hmm.
I really had no strategy. And I just said, I'm just going to do it, the first post, and then see where it gets me. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So that very first post you shared then, what I guess was the feeling like? How did it perform? I think for people who are thinking about starting posting on content on LinkedIn, it's good for them to hear, what were the first steps?
Yeah, I think that first post will always be kind of my favorite post
Mm.
because I remember the exact moment I got the idea of the post and when I posted it. So I remember it was a Sunday. I got the idea of the post and then I said, whatever happens, I'm posting it on Monday. And it felt scary to be very honest, because I was like, who am I to post things? And I started like asking all these questions, like, will people even care what I have to say? But then
Mhm.
I told myself, I mean, if I don't try, I will never know. So I said,
Right.
whatever happens, even if I hesitate so much, I will just post it and see what happens. And actually, that post was really about me announcing to the world that I will start posting on LinkedIn. And I
Mm.
felt like I needed to do that to kind of hold myself accountable, to push myself to do it after that first post. So it was like kind of my small strategy to push myself to do it even after that post.
Mm.
And how did it perform? To be honest, it performed really well. Like I didn't
Really?
expect it at all. I mean,
Mm.
really well for my standards, but
Yeah.
and a lot of people like reacted to it, like from, of course, my close network. And I received even messages in DM saying, "Oh, it's great that you're starting this." And then I was like, wow, I had all these questions and fears in my head, but actually it turned out to be really okay. So
Mm.
yeah, it was a nice experience, to be honest, that first post.
Yeah, I love that. And I've seen you talk a lot about authenticity on your LinkedIn. What I think that's a bit of a buzzword for people. What do you think that actually means when creating content?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would say I see it as two different things. So the first one is Um, like sharing what's real. I know it's a bit cliche to say sharing what's real, but for me, it's sharing things as they are, like the good and the less good.
Mm.
Because I feel on social media in general, we see a lot of successes and people did a lot of things and people achieved a lot of things, which can make other people feel like, wow, I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But
Right.
actually, when you see also the behind the scenes, everything that happens to get to be a successful person, for example, or if you got a really nice job, what happened before you get this really nice job. So for me, it's really about showing everything, like
Mm.
really the good that people like look up to, but also the very difficult part that got you somewhere. And this is what will help people feel like they're not alone, and will help them like learn from your experience. So for me, that's one side. But also the other one is more internal. So for me, when I talk about authenticity, it means also my content reflects really who I am as a person,
Mm.
regardless of what the algorithm wants and what works. For example, on LinkedIn, for me, it's really always staying true to who I am. I only write about things I believe in, things I like. So for me, that's also authenticity. So it's not only what you share with the world, but also if it's true to you as well. So for me, it's these two sides, let's say.
Right. Do you think that I've seen a lot of posts about this on LinkedIn about that authenticity performs better than like a perfectly planned post? Do you think that's true?
I think so. To a certain extent, I think so, because I've also seen it now that I've been for, I mean, a while, like 5 months. So I know more than I knew before I started posting. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think it was to a certain extent, it's true. And it's very simple because at the end, people are reading the content of people. So, I mean, people feel things and feel when things are authentic. And this is why I think, yeah, it tends to perform better. But it's not, I would say on LinkedIn, there's no general rule. Like if you post something authentic, it will do really well. If you don't, I've seen, for example, some posts filled with value. Really, I think that happened like a week ago. I was going through my feed and I read a post that I really liked. I was like, wow, like I learned so much from that post. And it
Mm.
really had barely a couple of likes. So I think there's no general rule, but of course, I would say there's a tendency for authentic content to perform better because people connect with it at the end.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's hard to come up with hard and fast rules
Yeah. Yeah.
for any social media platform. But yeah, so I think when a lot of people hear LinkedIn now, they still think it's kind of got this corporate voice. Do you think that is still true, or do you think LinkedIn is finally ready for more personal slash human storytelling?
Yeah. I definitely think it's more ready than before because I've seen the change in the 5 months I've been on the platform. I remember when I first started, what let's say used to perform well doesn't really anymore, and now it's really leaning towards more storytelling, real stories, real struggles, and so on. But I always tell myself, and I always say, I feel there's a really fine line between, like, because at the end, as I said at the beginning, for me, LinkedIn is a learning platform. And so
Mhm.
as long as personal stories are linked to some learning, I think that's what the platform wants most. It's not just personal to be personal. Now, of course, there is some content that is purely personal and really resonates well, but in general, it's really something where you have some learning or some challenging ideas. So there's something behind it, and it's just not just like your diaries where you're just sharing what you ate for lunch, for example. So that's for me the fine line between the personal and the more, let's say, what we call corporate.
Right. So then bringing your justice sector work into LinkedIn, how do you kind of decide what lessons or reflections you bring into that world?
Yeah. So for me, so initially, to be honest, when I started posting on LinkedIn, my idea was to post things that are not linked to my job. But I
Mm,
ended up posting a couple of times about my job for a very simple reason, because I feel a lot of organizations are doing really great job, but no one knows about it. And I believe that for the organization I work for, so we work on people-centered justice. And I remember the first time I shared something about my job, in the comments, a lot of people were saying like, wow, we didn't know this even existed. And it made me think like there's really so much happening behind the scenes in some organizations or companies that a lot of people don't know about. So this is
mhm,
what pushed me to share about it. And to answer your question, what do I decide what to share? Usually I share more stuff that I work on that I would like the other people in my network to know about, or more
mhm.
about people-centered justice in general, so people know more about this concept. So this is in general what I share about from my job.
Yeah. And you said before earlier that your colleagues were reacting to your post in the very beginning. Do they still react to your posts? And is it in a good way or is it in a surprising way? What's kind of the interpretation of that posting?
Yeah, I'm lucky to have really nice colleagues. I mean, of course, not all of them react to my posts, but I mean, many of them do. And even
Mhm,
some of them sent me DMs saying like, we've been following your content. It's really nice. Good job. Keep going. Some others don't react, but for example, when I bump into them in the office, they say something about it. In general, my colleagues have been supportive of that, and I feel like really grateful for that. Yeah, so yeah, I would say I wouldn't expect my colleagues to react, but they actually, some of them do, and I think that's really nice.
right. So you've obviously had a lot of growth on LinkedIn very quickly from zero really to a big impact within just 5 months. What do you think has been the biggest factor behind that growth?
I will say again something I said before, but I really believe being true to yourself is definitely one thing, because
Mhm,
people feel that through your posts. But also, if I want to be completely fair, making this like a priority next to my job, like putting a lot of time into that, because it is very time consuming. I have like a crazy rhythm. My days are like literally crazy between my full-time job, this, and I'm doing some an MBA next to that. So
mm,
it's really putting in the time, because this requires time. And also, I would say, because I talk a lot about it in my posts, also good systems and good planning, because without good planning, it's very difficult to remain consistent on the
right.
platform.
Okay. Have you ever deleted a post on LinkedIn?
Yeah, that's actually a very good one, because I was really thinking about this around a week ago. And I was listening also to a podcast where the person was saying whether you should delete or not a post that doesn't perform well. And actually, it happened with me at the start of my journey. I so this is I feel always when at the start of the journey we're really chasing the numbers and we're really stressed if no one interacts with our posts. So I remember like after maybe half an hour I had maybe 2 likes and no comments, and I felt like, okay, this is not doing well, no one's reading it, or people reading it are not really liking it. So I deleted it. And actually, I posted this same exact post that I had deleted maybe a month later. It didn't perform extremely well, but it performed okay. And this has really taught me something, and I hope it can help people who think about deleting posts. That sometimes some posts get traction really after maybe an hour or two. It's not always, of course, the beginning always helps, but this really taught me that. Yeah, just give it time. Like I feel like I didn't even give it time to see if it performed well or not. And
Mhm.
after that, yeah, I deleted maybe once. So in total, I deleted 2 posts, I think. But after these 2 experiences, I decided to not delete anymore. Like now, if you go to my profile, you have posts that performed really well and some that didn't necessarily. And I think it's part of the journey at the end. Like even if posts don't do well, and I think like for everyone it happens, even for really big creators, sometimes they get posts that do less good than their usual post, and I think that's perfectly okay. And I told myself this like a week ago because I link it also to authenticity. If I always speak about being authentic, also keeping posts that don't perform that well is part of it. So yeah, that's a bit my experience with that.
Got it. I love that. I am curious then as well. Has there been like a best message or a DM that you've received from your content?
Mm. Um, Yeah, I'm actually hesitant. Can I say two? I know you asked for one, but
No,
can
of
I
course, of
mention two?
course.
Yeah, I actually, there are, I mean, first of all, I think it's super sweet of people to take the time to write a DM because I feel that's the next level. Like, it's not commenting, it's not reposting, it's not liking the post, but it's really taking the time to tell you something specific. And for me, there are two that really, really stayed with me. There's one I received, I think, around a month ago. I was chatting with someone in the DMs, and the person told me that one of my posts really inspired her and helped her understand something during a really big change
Mm,
in her she was going through. And that post was really one of my very first posts. And for me, I remember when I posted this, I said, yeah, I mean, I really liked the post, but then after I posted it, I thought like, okay, it didn't perform that well. But then
mhm,
when this person told me this, I was like, wow. And this was a post yeah, like she sent me the message, I think
mm.
3 or 4 months after.
Wow.
And it really made my day because I thought like, you really never know
Right,
who is there waiting to hear a message you have to
right.
say. Like really, that was an amazing DM I received. And the second one, actually, I received, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago, of someone who was telling me that they like my content, but that's not the part I want to talk about. It's really more, she said something very interesting. She said, I can see your personality through your
Mm,
posts. And she
mm,
started listing because I don't know this person. I've never spoken to her. So she had been following my content. And then she told me a couple of things about my personality. And I was like, wow,
mm.
like it's as if she knows me. And she said, I feel this through your posts. And for me, that's amazing because when people can feel your personality through your posts, it means you're being true to yourself. And that's like just for me, it's just amazing. So these
Right,
two were my favorite.
100%. Is there such good feedback to receive too? Um, what do you say to people who feel like they are too busy to post or share their ideas online?
Yeah, I'm going to say something that maybe people won't like, but for me, I don't really believe in what we call too busy. I really
Mm,
believe in priorities.
mm,
So for me, I always ask myself, is this a priority for me or not? If it's a priority, I will find time for it. If it's not, I won't. And it's perfectly okay if it's not a priority. But usually, when people, of course, have full-time jobs, they're maybe parents, I don't know, they do things on the side. I totally understand. But it just means it's not that they don't have time, but maybe they prefer to put that time into something else. So
Mhm.
for me, I always ask myself, is this a priority or not? And then if it is a priority, we don't need to really run. I mean, we can start with a small step. Like, let's say starting to post one time a week, let's say.
Mhm.
And then with time, we see how if this is working or not. And then maybe we can increase to two times. But maybe if it's a priority, there's always a way to start even like very small and then build up over time.
That's what I was gonna ask you is do you have, like, a daily habit or a daily ritual that keeps you consistent with posting?
Um, yeah, I think I said it before. I think good systems and good planning. Yeah, I know it sounds maybe kind of a cliche, but that's very true because it's very time consuming. And if
Mhm.
you don't have like a system in place or good good planning, I think it can become very, very tiring and
Mhm.
it's not sustainable. So to make it
Right.
sustainable, it's very important to have a system in place. For example, say I'm gonna post, let's say, three times a week. And then
Mhm.
when am I writing my post? Is it on the same day or is it, for example, on the weekend? Is it the night before? So just have a bit of planning in mind to keep it consistent and sustainable.
Right. Right. 100%. Um, so I'm curious for you, what are you most excited for about where your LinkedIn journey is heading next?
Um, I think the charm of a LinkedIn journey is that you never know what's going to
Mm.
come. Like one day you
Mhm.
can wake up and have an amazing DM for an amazing opportunity. Or you can have a DM, not necessarily for an opportunity, but just someone telling you something really nice. So for me, what I'm really looking forward to is all the amazing connections I will make with people. Was it just as an opportunity, like to build something together or to do something, or simply like just to connect with people on a human
Mhm.
level? And that's really the part I love most about posting on LinkedIn, like the conversations that happen on your post, the conversations that happen in DMs, but also meeting people. Like, for example, I didn't know you. We meet now on, yeah, this opportunity. I think it's just amazing to have this way of meeting different people that you wouldn't have met, yeah, if you didn't show up on a platform like LinkedIn.
Right, 100%. I completely agree. It's an amazing platform to build a community and to actually connect with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so I want to do a couple of rapid fires with you before we wrap up.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
my first one is there a LinkedIn cliche that makes you cringe?
A cliche, not really, because I feel like people should post whatever represents them. So no, there's just one thing that annoys me,
Mm,
which is when I have comments on my post that are fully AI generated,
right,
and that
right,
really, really bothers me.
right.
And
I
sometimes they're
totally get that.
completely disconnected from the content of the post, like
Hmm.
it has nothing to do with the post.
Right,
That really, really annoys me. And
right.
I'm not easily annoyed, by the way. Like
Yeah,
I need a lot to be annoyed, but this
yeah.
is one thing that I really don't
I
like.
get you. Totally. A friend told me the other day that she posted a post on LinkedIn about an event that she had hosted and multiple like AI generated comments of people being like, "Thank you so much for having me there." And she was like, "I have no idea who you are." Like,
Yeah, this is really like the type of content. I really don't mind any type of content because people post whatever feels good to them. But
mhm,
this really, really annoys me.
yeah. Okay, next question. Do you have a content idea you're dying to post but haven't yet?
Mm, to be honest, no, nothing I could think of at the moment. No.
Mhm. Okay. All right. I like that honest answer. Last question for you. Do you have a book or a resource or a course or anything like that that you can recommend for budding entrepreneurs or even people who are looking to post more on LinkedIn?
I would say, to be honest, it's not a specific book. I think follow as much as possible people who are ahead of you in the game.
Mm,
And I learned a lot of the things I know today by just being curious, like just following people, like just going on LinkedIn, seeing people, let's say, who have not necessarily hundreds of thousands of followers, but maybe 20K followers, 40K, 5K, 10K. So follow different people who are ahead of you a bit, maybe in the middle, and maybe people who are way ahead of you in the game, because I
mhm.
think you can learn a lot from each of those people.
Well, I completely agree with that. I think that is really good advice. It's always good to have a mentor and always good to have people in mind who are
Yeah.
ahead of you.
Yeah.
Um, well, thank you so much for joining me. I This has been such a good episode. I'm so excited for people to hear this, even though I know there's technical difficulties. That's just how it
Mm.
goes.
Yeah, it happens.
But where can people find you and where can they connect with you?
Yeah, so people can find me on LinkedIn. This is the platform I'm on, but also in my DMs because, as I mentioned, this is a part I really love about LinkedIn, like connecting with people I don't know who have
Mhm.
something to share or they want to discuss something. So it's on my profile, my posts, or my DMs.
Okay, perfect. And that'll all be linked in the show notes. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. It's
Yeah.
such a good episode. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was really nice to have this, as we say, chill conversation. And yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity and for having me here.
Of course. And that is a wrap.